This is an open letter to Dave Rubin and the owners of Locals.com. Hello, I am Caius Nelson. I'm an independent game developer and a character artist, and the owner of Studio Syndicate. I want to start by saying I'm a big fan of the idea of Locals. I think the concept of a community and network-based subscription site is a fantastic idea, not just for political commentators, but for content creators like myself as well. I don't think it's a viable replacement for sites like Twitter and Facebook, but as a competitor or something that someone might use alongside traditional social media. Having a place like Twitter as a more public platform, with Locals being focused on more private communities and networking, seems like the best way to go generally. However, there are a number of issues that I find are going to turn off a lot of people from giving the site a fair shot. Number 1, make the messaging clearer. If I had not seen your almost 2-hour stream about Locals on the Rubin Report YouTube channel, which is several months old at this point, I wouldn't have the slightest clue of what exactly Locals is. It's very hard to find clear and concise information outside of the website itself on how to use it and why to use it, or even what exactly it is. From the video, the best I can gather without using it myself is that it's some sort of community-based subscription service, similar to Patreon or Subscribestar. But if I want to get a better idea of how it works or why I should use it, there needs to be a clearer message about that. One of the ways to do that would be, number 2, make use of social media accounts. This ties back to the first reason somewhat, but as many issues as you or I may have with sites like Twitter or YouTube, the truth is that they're immensely powerful tools for promotion and marketing. Yet, unless I've missed them somehow, there is no Twitter or Facebook or YouTube account for Locals.com. Word of mouth can only take you so far. Having proper accounts on these sites posting regularly about the benefits of using Locals would go a very long way to helping get the word out to as many interested people as possible. Having a dedicated Locals YouTube account in particular would be an immense help for the end user, one fully segregated from the Rubin Report and that produces content useful for its creators. Specifically tutorials and explainer videos for those interested in using the platform, as for many people these would be a lot easier to follow than website-based ones. It'll also help those on the outside get a clearer look of what it's like to use Locals. Number 3, don't politicize the messaging. This one will be short, as the website actually does a very good job at not doing this. However, one of the only places of learning about Locals outside of the website, like I said, is that livestream video, and the times you mention it on Twitter. And because of most of the context in which this information is given, I'm very concerned that the website will develop a very political reputation, even if that's not the intent. This is another reason why apolitical promotion on other social media sites is so important. Political spaces turn a lot of people off. As you've said before, most people just want to go about their lives in peace, without having to be bombarded by all of this stuff we see on media and Twitter. Those are the people you need to try and reach most with this site, not just commentators. And again, having dedicated apolitical social media accounts for Locals.com will help a lot with avoiding that perception becoming a stigma. And on that note, number 4, make it attractive to apolitical creators. This is the biggest one, I think. It's not just enough to say you can use Locals even if you're not a political account. The reality is that apolitical content like games, music, fashion, or whatever haven't had the same issues with places like Patreon or Twitter that political commentators have. Doesn't matter whether that's right or not. The point is, what incentive is there for them to abandon their current platform if they have one already? Or if they don't and their content wouldn't be considered controversial enough to be suspended? Why should they risk joining a lesser-known platform and losing out on a potentially far larger audience? Even if they have to make sure they don't rock the boat too much, the truth is that most apolitical creators will likely look at all the benefits and risks involved and end up deciding Patreon and Twitter will be far more profitable for them in the long run, regardless of how true that turns out to be. I know this because this is the exact issue I have faced with Studio Syndicate. As much as I want to support these kinds of alternative platforms, the reality is most of the audience is still on traditional mainstream sites, making them a far more viable option despite restrictions. And this is largely due to the fact that, like I mentioned before, a lot of the messaging is not very clear on what, if any, benefits there are to choosing Locals over these other well-known platforms, and whether it's worth the risk of potentially losing a large chunk of your audience. As much as I appreciate the free speech supporting platform, that's simply not enough of an incentive for most people. It needs to be absolutely crystal clear. What practical advantages does this site have to me as a creator for spreading my work? And more importantly, for the subscriber and members, what are the advantages to me for using this site to support creators over another more well-known one? I know you do have some benefits already, but you need to consider whether those are actually that attractive or not. Competition is supposed to breed better products. Quality and convenience is the name of the game. The better service you can provide for as many people as possible, the more reason normal people will have to want to join your platform. I want Locals to succeed. I think it has the potential to be a far more reliable, more trustworthy service than Patreon or Subscribestar. However, right now I honestly can't tell if it's worth pursuing over alternative platforms that offer similar services. Remember, you're providing a product first and foremost, and your potential customers want to know that this will result in the best experience for them, be they creator or consumer. Focus on clearing up the messaging over what it is, how to use it, and why it's better for everyone to use over its competitors. Don't politicize the messaging, as that will turn people off no matter how well-intentioned it is. And make sure that your service simply provides a better product for everyone, no matter what kind of content they create. Thank you for taking the time to listen. If any of you are interested in checking out Locals.com, I do highly recommend it. Despite issues it currently has, it's still a very promising service, and I will continue to support it for the immediate future. That's all for this. Normal content will resume soon. Catch you later.